I am Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He is the author of the book Support Experience, no other than Krishna Raj Raja. Welcome to Book 101, Mr. Krishna, and can you please introduce more about yourself?
Sure. Daniel, pleasure to be in the podcast today. My name is Krishna Raj Raja. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Support Logic, and the author of this book, Support Experience.
Yes, yes, yes. And Mr. Krishna, thank you so much for sharing your talent to the world. Thank you so much for empowering us. What does the term support experience mean in the context of the book?
So, people talk about concepts like customer experience, they talk about concepts like employee experience, product experience, brand experience, and we conveniently don't talk about the elephant in the room, which is support experience. In fact, support experience is probably the single biggest investment that you can make that can improve your brand experience, that can improve your product experience, that can improve employee experience. So as an industry, we focus on other experiences when we talk about a business, and support experiences fallen on the sideline. So this book explores the concept of support experience. What does it mean to be an organization that is focused on support experience? How artificial intelligence plays an important role in this. So that's what I talk about in this book.
How has AI transformed the way companies interact with customers?
So when we look at artificial intelligence, we tend to think that an AI is an autonomous system that has no emotions. It just does things. In fact, in popular movies and in sci-fi fiction, the way you identify an AI system from a non-AI system is an AI system is the one which lacks emotions. But the reality is artificial intelligence is really, really good at understanding human emotions. They can be used to not only understand human emotions, they also can be used to improve human to human communications. How can we be more empathetic when we talk to customers? How do we be more assertive when we talk to our customers? Um, what are the soft skill gaps that you have when you interact with customers? Those are things AI can coach you. So where AI really comes into play here is we use artificial intelligence today to observe all business to business communications or business to customer communications and understand what the customer is telling you. What are their pain points? Why are they frustrated? Why are they confused about your product? What do they really want from your product? What they don't want you to do in your product? All of that signals are buried in customer communications. AI can harness that, extract that signals, and provide that context to the entire business and fundamentally change the business. So that's what this book explores. I talk about companies like Google and Nokia and Apple and Snowflake. A lot of technology companies are on the forefront of using AI to understand the voice of the customer using the natural language processing technology.
So, Mr. Krishna, how do innovative companies define excellent customer support?
For innovative companies, it's not just sufficient that you get a customer support issue and you resolve it and you call it a day, right? They are actually looking much beyond than that. Can they be more proactive? Can they prevent customer issues before it comes to you? Or when an issue comes in, can they predict whether you're going to be upset or not in the process of giving a resolution, right? When you give that early warning signal for these innovative companies, they're able to basically predict what might happen with a particular support issue, get ahead of that, and get in front of the customer and solve issues. It fundamentally changes how the customers look at those companies, and their brand loyalty changes significantly. So that's the core thing I cover in this book, and how you can do this, and how the technology is helping us, and with real life examples of these companies.
What role does empathy play in AI driven support experiences?
So I think the world moving more and more into AI based automation, I fundamentally believe that we are going to pay closer attention to authentic conversations that we are going to have with each other. We're going to pay more attention to the humanity in us, and how we end up, how we become better humans. I think the focus is going to shift into that when a lot of things are getting automated, right? So, end of the day, whether you're talking to a chatbot, whether you're talking to an AI system, or you're talking to another human being, end of the day, that's a human being that wants to have the conversation. There's at least one human on that side, right? And that human needs to have a great experience, an experience that truly understands what you're going through. And that is empathy. Empathy is not just feeling sorrow for someone or feeling happy for someone. It's truly understanding, okay, I understand your pain point. I understand what you're trying to do. I'm here to help. How do you make AI systems hyper personalized for those kind of interactions? Right. That's the key concept there.
What are the key advantages of using AI in customer support?
The fundamental advantage you're getting is doing things at scale. See, every support organization, when they're really, really small, they have a great support. You have five customers, you have five support engineers, you can serve them absolutely well. But if you have 5,000 customers, you can't have 5,000 people serving 5,000 customers, right? So you have to do things at scale. And that's when things fall through the cracks. So what AI allows you to do is, how do you deliver this great hyper personalized experience that you get with a one-on-one interaction? How can you do that at scale for thousands of customers and millions of customers? That's where AI really plays a role. And same goes for understanding the customer intent and voice of the customer. If I read every interactions that my employees are having with our customers, I would be spending all my day just reading those interactions, right? I cannot possibly read everything that comes through the door. AI system allows you to read all of that and summarize, saying, "Hey, this is what I'm seeing patterns among your customer base." And so again, doing this at scale is where it really adds value.
So, Mr. Krishna, how do companies balance AI automation with the need for human interaction?
So I think you don't want to over rotate on one side or the other, right? You don't want to have such a impersonal interaction with your customers, just putting a chatbot in front of them. The chatbot is there to assist, and then eventually, if it cannot handle the issues, it needs to route the issue to a human agent. But even the routing the issue to the human agent, you want to be very smart about it. You don't want to route to an agent who uh, doesn't have the subject matter expertise to solve your issue. So picking the right agent who has the greatest match for answering your questions, greatest match in terms of time zone compatibility, language compatibility, personality compatibility, right? All of those things AI can play a role in routing the issue to the right agent. So I think that's where the technology can coexist with humans. I think we're in the very early stages of chatbots. I think there's a lot of expectations that chatbots are going to be there everywhere, and we're going to only interact with chatbots. I'm not entirely sure that that's going to be the case, because human beings are exceedingly well in handling exceptions, and any automated systems, they're not good at handling exceptions. So you need an automated system for repetitive stuff, and for handling exceptions, you always need an human beings, and they need the right context.
Very well said, Mr. Krishna. Very well said. And what examples does the book provide of companies using AI to personalize customer experiences?
So in the book, I talk about escalation prediction and prevention. One of the strongest use case of my company's product. My company is called Support Logic, and we provide a software suite for other companies to monitor their customer interactions and predict customer escalations in advance. So what we do is we look at all the different factors that are potentially can drive a customer toward an escalation. These factors includes the customers increasingly getting frustrated. These factors include that the customer had bad experience previously, not in the current interaction, but bad experience when they called you 5 months ago or 4 months ago. So historical context. Urgency. What's the impact for the customer? Is that customers heavily impacted by this issue, or it's a moderately impacted by the issue? What is their current temperament? And numerous other factors we take into account, and we predict, hey, this particular customer is going to escalate, and we give an early warning, and we allow companies to appease the customer before it's too late. Because if it's too late, you've given up on the company, and you don't want to do business with the company anymore, right? You are going into social media and you're posting bad things about the company. It's too late. So you want to get involved at the right time before it's too late. And if you involve at the right time and you change the outcome of the customer, the whole negative experience suddenly transforms into one of the best positive experience the customer has ever had. So that's what the technology allows you to do it today.
So, how can AI be used to predict and proactively address customer needs?
So the escalation prediction is one of the stuff I talked about. There's also AI can be used to do predictive answers. I'll give you an example, the difference between predictive answers and a chatbot. When you're interacting with a chatbot, the chatbot is constantly looking to find a definitive solution for your question. If you ask a question, say, this is what I think the solution is, right? Sometimes the solution could be wrong. It could be an incorrect answer because the chatbots are designed to provide an answer to your question. But if you're working with a complex issue, often it's not the answer that you need. You need the next question to ask the customer to narrow down the issue. So you'll need troubleshooting steps. So, and a good example is, let's say, internet is not working. If you go and ask, hey, my internet is not working, you can't immediately provide an answer that internet is not working because you don't have internet connection. It could be a number of reasons. Maybe you didn't pay your internet bill. Maybe Wi-Fi router is down. Maybe there is a configuration issue in your laptop. So you have to narrow down the issue further to provide a definitive resolution to fix the problem. So this is why in a assisted support, you have to give predictive answer and predictive troubleshooting steps to carry forward to the next question. So that's an example of that.
So, what challenges do companies face when implementing AI in customer support?
I think the number one challenge in the past, which is fast changing now, is in the past, there's a lot of skepticism around AI. People thought AI technology is not mature, it doesn't really work. And so they would hesitate to implement a new technology, right? So that was the barrier, even though the technology was working really, really well even a few years back. But that has changed now with the introduction of ChatGPT and everything. People think, okay, now they finally believe the technology is there, it works. Now the real challenge is all about people and process. You have existing people who have a specific mindset of working. How do I change the people's behavior? How do you change the culture of the company? So when you introduce a new technology, culture actually often comes in the way of making you very, very successful. So in the book, I talk about how does you change the company culture? How do you really make a company that is focused on technology forward and focused on results and put customer experience and support experience ahead of anything else? It's just not it's an easy thing to say, but a really difficult thing to do unless you make a cultural change in the company. So those are some of the barriers I talk about. And then there's an ROI barrier. People don't know what is the return of investment. Okay, if I make my customer happy today, how does that make me profitable? So you need to have a long-term outlook of a business. Every business has a customer acquisition cost and a lifetime value. So you have to understand that if you make happy customers, they become your champions. They reduce the customer acquisition cost, and the lifetime value with the customer goes up, right? These are not necessarily tangible, immediately measurable metric. So this is why this is something, an initiative that needs to come top down from the CEO level and push to the entire company.
So, Ms. Krishna, what will be your advice for those aspiring writers out there want to write the same genre as yours?
I think fundamentally believe that every human being has a story to tell. Every human being has something interesting to say, some unique viewpoints, right? What holds us back is, hey, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe this idea is that I have in my head is nobody's going to like it. No, there's no audience for it. Only one person is going to read it. That's going to be my mother, right? That's what we think. But you'll be surprised when you put your ideas out, no matter how unique it is, no matter how controversial it is, there is an audience for it. So the first advice for anybody who wants to write a book is jump in, just write it. And writing takes time. It's not an easy thing to do. Often you don't know where to start. When you have a blank sheet of paper, it's very difficult to know which direction to go. So developing that framework and the outline and the story, and you cannot write everything in one book. This is another mistake. You have so many ideas. Sometimes you feel like, oh my god, I have to jump, put everything into one book. You have to pick a theme and stick to the theme and flesh out the theme around the theme. And you have more ideas, you write a second book or a third book. So that's those are my advice for anybody who wants to write a book.
Definitely. So, what are your short term and long term goals in writing?
So this is my first book, and I think I've gained a lot of experience in writing this book. And it was easy to write in some ways because I know the space in and out. The difficult part was how to put it in a thematic fashion and what to leave out from the book, and otherwise it will become a 500-page book, right? So you have to. So that's one. And then I like storytelling. I don't want to just tell concepts. I want to tell stories, and the concepts comes from the stories because we are very good at remembering stories, not concepts, right? The next thing for me is like this is a movement. I don't think any book was specifically written for the concept of support experience, and so I want to expand on this topic, perhaps a sequel on this book, um, and also there's lots of other ideas I have in my head that I want to write someday.
Good luck to your goals, Mr. Krishna. And how do companies ensure their AI aligns with a brand values and customer expectations?
So brand values for a lot of people, they think it's all about how I package my product, how my website looks, what my product does. And often we put customer service as the last thing to think about. I'll give you a very specific example. I fly a lot these days for business travel, and Emirates is one of my favorite airline. They have an amazing product, right? You go to if you fly, especially business class on Emirates, they treat you like a king, right?
Yes.
Every experience from the airport lounge to check-in process to once you enter the cabin, the food and everything is amazing. But if you try calling their customer service, it's not necessarily a great experience and really robs you from all the great experience and the product they provide. So they've done a lot of emphasis on product experience, or the flight looks, or the food looks, or the packaging looks, or your ground service looks. All of that is great, but talk to somebody in the call center. There are numerous issues there. So it's not consistent. The brand experience is not consistent. It's tarnished by their support experience, and it's not an easy thing to do because certain things are easy to control. Your flights you can control, the food you can control easily, but in your call center you're talking to thousands of people and they're all rotating, so it's very difficult to keep that quality consistency. So that's an example of how brand experience can be tarnished if you just leave out this one critical part, which is a support experience.
So, Mr. Krishna, to sum up our episode for today, what trends are shaping the future of AI in customer support and how can companies stay ahead?
So I think we are in the very early innings of artificial intelligence. I would say this is like how internet was there during the dial-up modem phase in the 1990s. Right now, the speed of internet is different. Internet is accessible on our mobile phones. It is not just tied to a PC. It's like everywhere, and AI is already getting there, but it's going to be much faster than the internet evolution. Right? It's going to be there everywhere in every device, and it's going to be invisible. The best technology are the ones that we don't even realize it exists. It's just complete in the background. We don't even think about it, right? So I think that's where the technology is heading. But there's a lot more to be done. I mean, there is automation is one part of it. Emotion analysis is another part of it. Being predictive and proactive is the other part of it. Um, there is also how do you understand future needs of a customer just by looking at your current interaction, right? Can we predict what the customer may want in the future? So there's a lot to be done there, and I think we're just scratching the surface right now.
Very well said, Mr. Krishna, and looking forward for more empowering books like this. And again, thank you so much for sharing your book to the world. So can you please invite our listeners to support your support experience?
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for having me.
Yes, can you please invite our listeners? Mr. Krishna,
Yes,
can you please invite our listeners to support your book?
yes, we can. How do I do it?
Just ask them to please go to your website or where
Yes.
books are sold.
So you can go to supportexperience.ai. It's my website. You can also find my book in Amazon, in Kindle, and the primary book website is supportexperience.ai.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Krishna Rajaraja because if you support him, more support experience will come. So, Mr. Krishna, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Daniel.
More to come, people. See you soon. So, Miss Krishna, you are most welcome to come back if you have